Okay. Hey, you guys, welcome to our Power 30 training for today. We are going to be talking about mapping and goal setting. And I don't know if you know this, but our team has kind of been the team that has put in place mapping. Like we have literally put mapping on the map. And it's just a really good way for you to stay with your goals and to hit your goals and to do it without having that scary unknown. So it's not something that, we suggest to do for busy work. It is something that we suggest to do for success. So I promise this is not going to be busy work. I hope that these next, 15 to 20 minutes will kind of just keep an open mind and think, you know what, how can I do this? And how can I implement this in my business? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. And we are going to go ahead and get started. Okay. Somebody tell me if you do not see my screen. Just yell out. If not, we're all good. Okay. So you may have heard me say this before, but a goal without a map is just a wish. This is not something that I came up with. This is something that I think has been talked about for probably decades and decades. So when we start this business, what happens is a lot of people, they get super excited, right? Because this is an exciting opportunity. They're like, okay, I want to go diamond, right? And we can get you to diamond. We can help you get to diamond, but we have to make a lot of stops along the way. So if you look at this map in this photo, it's so silly, but if you look at this map, you see all the little dots. Imagine that as your rank throughout this company. You are going from silver to senior silver to gold to senior gold to ruby to senior ruby, so on and so forth, right? And so in order to get from point A to point B, you must have a map. You just must. It's like getting in the car nowadays, and going somewhere you've never been without using your navigation system, right? You need to use your GPS. You need to get in the car and say, here's where I'm going. Tell me how to get there. And so think of your sponsor as kind of your navigation system, right? They're kind of the GPS going, okay, okay, Sarah, here's where you are and here's where you want to go. And I am going to help you get there. But in order to get there, we need to make a map. We need to do this. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so first thing that you want to do is how are you going to map? So I always joke and I say, get a ghetto notebook. It does not have to be pretty like the one in this photo. It does not have to be a pretty notebook. It just has to be a notebook that has paper in it, and you need a pen. And so I know some people like to type into their phones. I know that they do. Some people are very phone oriented and they like to put it into their notes. I do suggest if you want to do that, that's great. We include that in our morning rounds, which is a whole nother training. But I do suggest pen to paper. And the reason why I suggest pen to paper is because you can scratch it off. You can highlight it. You can put a marker on it. You can make notes. It's going to be messy. And the messier that it gets, that means the more action that is going on in your business. So messy is good. There's not many instances where messy is good. This is an instance. So first, what you want to do is you want to set your goal. So you need to set your goal and say, okay, so this month I am going for gold. Okay. And you might have 50 points projected for the month, right? So you are going for gold. So you need 50 more points, right? Which would be about 9 level 1 newbies on your team. So that's what you want to find out right away. You want to go, okay, here's my goal. Here's my numerical goal. And this is how many ads or reorders that I need to get there. Okay, so you're probably going to have to get out your calculator. If you're anything like me, you're going to need a calculator. Okay, so I just gave that example. So say I need 9. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a numbered list of how many I need to hit my goal. So I'm literally going to get out my ghetto notebook and I'm going to write down 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to the number 9. I suggest going a little bit past it because not all 9 might work out. So that one is up to you. If you keep going and you get to 20, do not stop. Never hold yourself back, but you definitely need at least 9. Okay, now this is where it gets really important because we have seen this done as leaders so many times where people will make a list of 1 through 9 and simply fill in their own name. So that would be like me making a list of 1 through 9, and I have Jen, 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 Jen. That's not a map, right? A map is going to be as specific as possible. Okay, so my map would have my name. Like if I think I'm going to add 5 of those 9, I'm not just going to put my name 5 times. I'm going to write down my prospect's name. So it'll be like Sarah and Sally and Katie and Jill, right? I'm going to put in actual names of prospects that I am talking to. Okay. Even dream teamers. So don't be scared. You don't want a whole map of dream teamers because dream teamers means they might be a little bit harder to get to join you, right? But you can include a dream teamer as well. And I've even seen people on their map write the word dream teamer next to a name. And that's really awesome because that's just, that by seeing it written, I feel like we are manifesting everything. Like we are putting it down on paper, pen to paper. And so I often feel like if that is done, typically that map happens, right? But if it's just in our brain, or if we just put down like our name 9 times, probably we are not going to get to our destination, right? Okay, so this is another important part. If you have a team, you want to be sure to get their goals and include them on your map, okay? So if I have 2 people on my team and they are both running for silver, right? So they will have their own map of 1, 2, 3, right? To get to silver. So I want to take those people on their map. And this is where you can sometimes include a name, not include a name, because if you have their map, you don't have to reinvent the wheel and write them all over. I like to, because I like to remind myself, but you can literally write at that point. So, if I have Sarah on my team, I can write Sarah 1, Sarah 2, Sarah 3, right? Because that means Sarah needs 3 to go silver, but Sarah's got her map of those names. So that's completely up to you. That kind of depends how your brain works and what's going to motivate you. Okay. And then lastly, you can have a map, you can cross it out, it can be amazing and all of the things, but do not keep that map to yourself. All too often, we have heard people say, yep, I got my map, I'm working on my map, I got my map. And that is going to get you nowhere quickly because it is sharing your map with others where the accountability comes in, right? Because now you've got somebody who is in on your plan. And they can help you to get to your plan and get to your goal. It's one of those things where it kind of it's accountability, it's manifesting what's on your map. And it's literally saying, here's my map, help me get there. Because if you don't have one, like I could not help Sarah on my team if I didn't know who she was working with, right? I would be like, Sarah, I don't know what to tell you. Go find 3 people, right? And that's not helpful. So I want to be able to say to Sarah, like, hey, what happened with Jill? I know you were going to meet with Jill. What happened with Jill? What did she say? Is she ready to get started? Right? Because I'm now aware of Jill because Jill is on her map. Okay. So you want to update your map daily. If you are constantly just opening it up every day and looking at it and there's nothing happening on it, that means we're not in action, right? A clean map means we're not in action. So, we want to be checking off as people join. You might have to, unfortunately, take somebody off your map, right? We have to be realistic too. They're not all going to say yes. They're not all going to join. And so we might have to take somebody off our map and cross them off. And then guess what? We have to restart our map. So it's just a quick writing down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, this is not busy work. It is going to get messy. And that is our goal. That means we're in action. So let's go back to the first example. I want you to see a visual. I don't know if you guys are like me. I like visuals. So this is Jen's map to gold. She's projected at 50 points and her goal is 100. And so adds or reorders, technically, if they're all level 1s is 9, but let's just go with 10, right? It's always good to go over. So this is my map. So do you see how I have everybody's name written out? And see, for my example, I didn't put Amy's people's names. I very well could though. If I'm working with Amy and I know she's working with Jill, Tara, and Sue, I could even put Amy, Jill, Amy, Tara, Amy, Sue. Okay. Whatever works best with your brain is what you want to do. And then notice how I even have reorders on this map. So if you have somebody that has ordered before and they're not ordering this month, you can, by all means, put them on your map because you're like, I'm going to talk to Sue and I am going to get Sue to reorder because Sue loved her pink drink and active, and I'm going to get her to place an order this month, right? So that counts. That counts. It counts all the same, just as signing somebody new. So, so this is what you want your map to look like. And again, you will be also typing it out like this because that is a part of our morning rounds. Our map is in our morning rounds, but also make sure you get out that notebook and just start scribbling. Okay, so I want to go over this really, really, really quick because I want you to think of your business as your store. Okay, because this really does all tie into mapping because we're getting into action. So if you had a store, imagine having a store and never switching that sign to yes, we are open. Imagine your store always said closed. Would you have any business? You would absolutely have zero business. So you want to make sure that your sign and your store is always open. And that is what our business is. So how do we open our store? We show up every single day, right? We show up, we've put up posts, we put up stories, we show up in the chats, we show up to Zooms like this, we show up to our evening Zooms. We just show up. That's only part of the job is showing up, right? We know we have to get deeper than that. But if we're not showing up, we don't even have an open storefront and nobody is going to come in for business. Nobody is. Okay. So go inside those doors, turn that sign to open. Think about it every single day. I don't have an office. Most of you know I'm sitting at my kitchen island right now. That is my office. But I have to get up every single day and take my kids to school. And when I come back, it is work time. That is my time to open up my storefront, right? It would be so easy to keep it closed, right? I don't have a boss. I don't have somebody telling me what to do every day, but I choose every single day over and over again for 38 months that I've been doing this. I choose to open up my storefront every single day. So I welcome you guys to do the same. And being on here is for sure a step in the right direction with that. You want to make sure that you are talking with your customers. So your customers are your happy wholesalers. You want to make sure you're talking to them. How are they doing? How are they feeling? Are they loving their products? Can you help in any way? Right? We're going to have a whole training on follow-ups. We're not going to go into detail on that. And you want to follow up with your teammates. So sponsors, three-way chats, all the same. We're going to have a training on that as well. So just be present. That is part of it. And mapping for sure is part of it. We share in our messenger chats every single day that we have done our maps. So it's definitely part of it. So without goal setting, none of this is going to come to fruition, right? So you want to set your goal. You want your goal to be realistic, but a little scary. You'll hear me say that a lot. You want to check past predictors. We're going to go into what that means. And then you want to just go. You want to go. You want to put your head down. You want to put your blinders on and you just want to go. And that you're going to do with your sponsor. Okay, so let's talk about realistic but scary goals. So when you are setting your goal, you want it to be achievable, right? But you also want it to be a little scary because a lot of times we get caught in our comfort zone, right? It's very comfortable in our comfort zone. It's like cozy, it's warm, we have a cup of tea, we've got a candle, we're reading a good book, right? We're comfortable. But then it's like, oh my gosh, I got to go message somebody. And I'm so scared to message, right? That's when we get out of our comfort zone. And guess what? That's where the growth happens. So you want to imagine that circle, your comfort zone. You want to be outside of that circle. That's where you want to be because that's where we're going to grow. And that's where our goals are going to grow. And that's how we're going to continue to rank up to the next rank. So we are going to grow the most during those times. The next thing we want to look at is past predictors. And so this is something that it took us probably a year or so to realize how important that this was. So you want to look at what you and your team accomplished the month before. Okay. Specifically, you want to look at team ads. And then you will literally take that number and you're going to say, okay, so I want to be growing every month, right? So if my team added 20 people last month, my goal for this month for sure needs to be over 20 team ads, right? Because this is a growth business. Remember, we are outside of our comfort zone. So we're going to use that number, and that's how we're going to estimate how many our team can add in this current month. Okay, this is going to get you on that right track for your goal setting. So think about it again, it's got to be a little scary. So if it's 20 team ads the month before, are you going to put 22 for this month? No. Maybe you'll put 30. Maybe you've got somebody who wants to go fast start gold. So then we're going to go, well, you had 20 last month. Sarah joined you at the end of the month and she wants to go fast start gold. So now it's going to go up a lot, right? We might be looking at 40 team ads, right? And then we're literally going to take that number, we're going to multiply it by 5. That's just the easier number to multiply by. Plus it might not be all level 1 ads. And then we're going to say that should be your growth for this month. Okay. So you want to look at the past. That's going to help you to predict what's going to happen in the future. It's not going to determine it and it's not going to assure it, but it's going to help you to predict what's going to happen this month. And then lastly, and most importantly, is you want to make sure that you talk with your sponsor. And if your sponsor is not active in the business, then you need to go to your nearest upline. This may be a jewel, this may not be a jewel. That's okay either way. But they are here to help you to make these goals, right? Because we have told people so often, and I've gotten told it before, no, you can do better than that. Like you can go further than that. And you guys, it all starts with a map. Because without a map, we have no way of knowing how we are going to get to our destination. Just remember that the next time you get into your car and you're going somewhere, you don't know where you're going. Just remember how scary that would be without having any way to get there, like any instructions at all. So I just want to encourage all of you to get your pen and paper out. If you have a map, start over, start over. After this call or after this training, maybe you've watched it, at some point in the future, you've watched this training. I want you to take out a pen and paper and I want you to start over. And I want you to make a smart and achievable goal. And I want you to talk to your sponsor about that goal because she will tell you, she will say, that's a great goal. You can totally do that, Diana. I know you can. And so that is it. If you guys have any questions ever, please don't hesitate to ask. You can ask me, you can ask your nearest jewel upline, you can ask in any of the messenger chats that you are in. Never be afraid to ask because there's no such thing as a dumb question. As much as we've heard that growing up, right? There's no such thing. So I just want to thank you guys for listening to this training, and just best of luck mapping.